It's New Brew Thursday! Woo! And we are doing Drake's beers today.
Drake's Brewing.
Really excited about this one. Steve, you were there for the release of this tasty beer, were you not?
Yes, I was. Went up during Pliny the Younger release and the...
At Russian River.
Yes, Russian River. And then we went, it was the following the next Saturday, the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next day, because
Yes.
it was our Friday. So the next day was the Drake's Hopocalypse release. So it was just like an IPA weekend. It was awesome.
They're capitalizing off the crowd that's already at Russian River. It's like, here's
well, the funny thing is though, is like when I had the black label down at Drake's that day, it was like the first thing that went through my head was, this is a beer you should go get if you don't want to stand in line for Pliny the Younger, because it is easily as good.
Wow,
Really?
nice.
Yeah.
In summary, we're doing Drake's Hopocalypse, and it's kind of cool because there are two different versions. We've got the standard Hopocalypse, which are as standard as it could be,
double
I guess.
IPA.
Yeah, which is your double IPA. But then we also have the black label, which is the triple IPA, which Steve procured at the brewery, because that was a brewery-only release.
By the way, we're in my garage.
We are in John's garage.
We've been kicked out of the house.
Yeah, hence the echo.
No, the place where we normally shoot is like literally. Turn it around.
Oh, I'm like, this is the worst bottle opener ever.
It's full of like beer boxes and just shit.
It's kind of stuffed. Yeah.
So I was in
There's
here.
no actual shit. That's just a word for like stuff.
Yeah, but there's I was in here brewing, which you can see my brew stand over there.
I was gonna point that out. His massive monstrosity of a brew stand.
You totally have the camera set up so you can see it, don't you?
I know.
Yeah, and then he's got his little danglies.
Got my dangly
Danglies. Oh, John, put your danglies away.
So
That's cold.
yeah, we're gonna switch things up as far as
Locales.
what you might normally see on the show, just because it's time.
Oh,
You
I'm
know?
just gonna start drinking. It's like, what else? John's talking. I'm like,
Has it been that long that you've forgotten?
it has actually.
Anyway, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to Drake's. They're
Huge pine right away.
oh yeah.
First thing that hits me.
There's a good citrus backbone on it too. It's not so much on the aroma, but like totally on the flavor.
Yeah, they've been putting out, like Drake's has been doing really, really well lately. They've been putting out all kinds of...
1500 Pale Ale is delicious. I love that one.
Aromacoma.
Aromacoma
Man,
is-
Aromacoma
yeah.
blew my mind.
Jolly Roger,
Yeah.
another great one.
For sure.
What's the other one that I'm familiar with? It's got the really long name.
Denogonizer.
Yes.
Yeah, Denogonizer.
They've been doing a lot of really great stuff lately. I mean, because they got their new owner in, 2008? Right?
Yeah, the owner of Triple Rock and Jupiter, John Martin, super nice guy. He went down and took over operations there. And recently they had added on Alex Noel, which I know. I don't know if you guys know her.
I know. I keep hearing about this person, but you know,
She's Brew Sugar on Twitter. She's super nice. She's
I know
super-
who that
Sugar?
is.
Yeah, Brew Sugar. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, Brew Sugar.
I love the
She
handle.
also doubles as a bartender at Beer Revolution.
Oh wow!
So
Yeah,
she's
kind
a
of all
over the
bartender
And
and
a brewer.
the brewer.
Yeah, so she's like, I got all sides of the brewing.
Got the
area
beer
taken
world,
care of, yeah.
covered, yeah.
So-
But it seems, especially lately, like over the last year or so, they've really been kicking it out with like the big special releases.
Yeah,
and
they're
stuff like that.
doing-
And they've been
they're doing some really
very
good
well.
stuff.
Yeah, like I said,
And
this is a fantastic beer.
Apocalypse became my favorite double IPA.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Really?
I honestly think it's better than Pliny the Elder.
Whoa.
Just because, and I'm gonna say this because
We're gonna be getting some comments on that one.
I know, but here's my reasoning on it. I mean, IPAs have a range. There's a range of, there's the danky, there's the piney, there's the super dry, there's the citrusy, there's the whatever. And I favor this kind of like nice piney aroma, nice big citrus flavor, kind of dry but not overly dry.
Right.
Like it hits all the marks of what I'm looking for in an IPA almost perfectly. Wow. And I know other people are looking for other stuff in their IPAs, and which is because like Pliny the Elder's a much more piney IPA. There's no citrus on it hardly. There's not so it's like when I drink that versus this, I'm always going to go to this.
Right.
Well, I
can see
mean,
that.
you're entitled to your opinion, and
It's just
That's
wrong.
not what you said earlier.
It's just wrong.
no, I'm just saying. Well, we both said you're gonna get scrutinized for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, from when you actually explain it like that, it's not like you're just fanboying out to drink.
Right.
You actually
no.
have a reason for liking this beer. So.
No, yeah, because there's when I go into like because I also go into moods with my IPAs. Like sometimes I'm in the mood for citrusy, sometimes I'm in the mood for really danky. And so then, I'm going to want to grab like a seat water or something.
Dank.
Nice.
Of course. Sorry.
So, I mean, that's my feeling on it. That's why I would say with conviction that I like this better than Pliny the Elder.
Yeah, that's...
With an iron fist.
With an iron fist. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
No offense, Vinny. Don't call me.
He's going to be pissed.
Vinny ain't sweating. He's like, fine. Drink
He's like, whatever.
Yeah, he's like,
you're still going to buy it.
Yeah,
it's like, I know I am, but...
He's like, your opinion is not going to slow down sales of Pliny the Elder.
I can't make enough.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, but should we?
Well, I think now is a good time to head off to Bill's kitchen.
What's cooking?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the difference is between the two. So I guess after we get back, we'll
do the triple.
Triple.
We're going triple.
Yummy.
All right.
After this break.
Bam.
Bam. Say bam.
Bam.
There you go.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Master Pairing with me, your host, Bill Sysak. Today I have Stephen Johnson from New Beer Thursday.
Hello there.
And we're doing some beautiful fresh oysters on the half shell. Picked them up at local market in town, major market. I want to shout out to our fishmonger there, Vito, who shucked them for me, which is always a nice thing. People are afraid to get oysters because they're in those...
Shuck me, shuck you.
They're in those shells tight. They see the shows where they're fighting to open them.
Right.
Ask your fishmonger. Get in touch with your fishmonger.
What is a fishmonger?
Ask her. Same as a butcher. Oysters on a half shell, fabulous. Dry Irish Stout. This is O'Hara's, as I said, from Carlo out of Ireland. It's going to go beautifully with these oysters.
I imagine so.
So a lot of times they do a minuet sauce, which is basically red wine vinegar, a little shallots diced up, or they may do a cocktail sauce.
We look like we're just doing them straight up.
Yes, they have a beautiful liquor in them, which is the liquid base that's inside of them, which gives the natural flavors. I'm just giving a little touch of lemon.
I'm going to have to be honest. This is
delicious.
another pairing that you're going to have to sell me on because...
Well, first of all, cheers.
I like this beer, but...
Beautiful, dry, stout, easy drinking, 4.5%.
Low ABV, just, yeah.
Total session ale with a lot of body and character.
Nice head.
Yes. A lot of body and character. You can easily drink this with a lot of great meats.
Well, that was a great Master Pairings. Let's move to the next one.
Now, oysters. Here we go. Grab an oyster.
Do you have one that's not like, that big?
Cheers.
Cheers. Now, is this going to slide out or do I need to
You're
suck?
going to slurp it.
Slurp it. All right.
Beautiful of the sea. Fish and fresh seafood shouldn't smell fishy. They should smell of the sea. They should have salinity and ocean. Steven, calm down. Breathe. Take a bite. Put it in your mouth.
I really don't want to. Hold on.
Have a drink of beer. Beautiful tasting, fresh, vibrant, delicious.
Okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Chew it up.
But no, I'm not going to do that again. It's like, it tastes okay. It's just...
It's a beautiful pairing with this beer.
It tastes amazing with the beer. I will say that.
It adds this little bit, the salinity comes out. It brings this vibrantness. It's like at the sea and you've got this roasted malt coming at you and it's just such a perfect marriage. I was sitting drinking the late great Michael Jackson, as a matter of fact. And I always drank martinis with my oysters. And he basically said, "You're crazy." He poured a little...
Because you eat oysters?
He asked for a little of my martini. He poured it on an oyster. He poured a little Guinness Stout on another oyster, covered them with a napkin. We continued our conversation. 5 minutes later, opened it up. My oyster was shriveled up. His oyster was all plump and juicy from the beer. He said, see, it's a perfect marriage. So it's a delicious oyster pairing. I highly recommend any local dry Irish stout you can get. Any other lower ABV stout will work really well, but I like the dry Irish stouts. They're exceptional. Fresh oysters, it's perfect. If you're doing something like Oysters Rockefeller, then you're gonna want to up the ante a little bit. You can do a oatmeal stout, cream stout. You can also start getting into more robust beers like porters, things like that. But for this is just delectable. It's oyster season. Find some great oysters and go out, get an Irish stout, get them shucked by your fishmonger. Whether you want little accoutrements like a cocktail sauce or not, or shallots and red wine vinegar. I think just a lemon. I mean, the way I like to eat them is right off the end of the dock. They open them, hand them to you. Perfect.
Really?
Pristine. Yep, that's the way to have them. So anyways, thanks for coming to another Master Pairing. We couldn't convert Stephen, but for anybody who's a true lover of the finer things in life, oysters are one of them, and a great Irish stout. Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
Welcome back from Master Pairings. Hey.
How was it? Good?
Yeah, it was good. You did it, yeah. It's the lemon thing in your mouth.
Yeah, you know.
I never even got to taste that one. I think I was already passed out in the backyard.
It was a good pairing, but the Expedition Stout was amazing, phenomenal.
Dude, that beer...
I forgot what vintage it was, but it was, I mean, he has like every vintage of
That's the thing about that beer is so incredibly cellarable. It's ridiculous. It's like that's one of like, 4 or 5 beers that I must have in my cellar. That one, Brooklyn Black Chocolate.
Well, speaking of, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I was just thinking the other day about World Wide Stout, because I have a bunch of World Wide Stouts that I've been cellaring since like 2008.
Really?
And they don't get any better.
Whoa.
I think you need to give...
Whoa, hey, no.
4 years?
No.
Well, it's World Wide Stout.
I know, and maybe it's just me. And I think the flavor on it's phenomenal. It tastes really, really good. I can never get through more than a quarter of the bottle, though.
Actually, you know what? It's funny, because the one time I actually met Sam Calagione, I asked him about World Wide Stout, and he said 5 years. So sit on it.
All right.
Literally.
I got another year.
Longer.
I'll sit on my bottles.
Yes.
It might be a little too warm in there, but...
I don't know. I get a little draft occasionally, so it's all good.
So this is the triple?
This is the triple. You can tell it's a lot darker than the last one.
Yeah, definitely. I think, for some reason, the head seems fluffier.
Ooh, this has a different aroma.
It does.
Definitely more citrus.
God, okay, the hops are like ever present on this.
Yeah. Did he use the same hops? Because I wrote it down. They use Zythos and experimental varietal HBC.
I've never had a Zythos beer.
I know, right? Now
you have.
Yeah, I keep hearing about that.
Nice. Thank you, Drakes.
Yes. Yeah, because this one was
So that's okay. So that's interesting. I thought they were the same recipe, just with more malts and stuff to make it a triple. But
yeah, this it's
a completely different beer.
And these bottles are a little
similar, but
I'm not gonna say old, but they're not.
They're not.
Well, they're from February 4th, and this is what, March 12th,
11th.
11th.
Yeah. Hello.
But the hops on this, I honestly think this might be at its peak. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like the malt and the hop is just...
It's blended together really nicely.
You get a nice, sweet, cakey, aroma with this...
Cakey, that's a good way of describing it for sure.
A little bit of spice on the hops. Oh, it smells phenomenal.
That's really
nice. So
lovely.
you guys both had Pliny the Younger this year, right?
Yes.
No. Shut up. I'll kill you.
Oh. All right. So Matthew, excuse us for a moment while we have a big boy conversation. What do you think about the two? If you can remember back, Pliny the Younger.
I haven't tasted this yet, so I don't know. Let me taste it. I'm just talking about the smell at this point.
Are you guys still talking?
Well, we haven't really finished the conversation yet. You just,
Okay, then I'll just...
You make sure the garage door doesn't open.
I mean, immediately this is, I got a lot more body. The malt on this, come back, Matt, come on. The malt, I mean, it's kind of, I know these bottles aren't as fresh as they could be, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
The malts on this like shine through.
And it's so incredibly drinkable. It's so incredibly drinkable.
Yeah, I mean.
For being 11%, definitely.
Pliny,
and this is, I think this is a half a point higher than Pliny.
No, it's actually 12.5%.
Oh, so it's...
Speaking from what
it's
I...
2% then.
Pliny, for me this year, was really hot. I mean, because when we had it, we had a blind pig next to a Pliny. And if you just have Pliny, maybe you won't detect the alcohol heat on it. But when you have it next to a blind pig, oh my God, it just pops out.
Yeah,
like,
definitely
it's right in your face. Yeah. Which isn't bad. I mean, it is an 11.5%.
This year's 10.5.
10.5? Oh, well. It's a higher ABV, IPA. So that's not necessarily bad. And for what it was awesome.
Yeah.
But compared to Blind Pig, you could definitely tell the differences between the two.
Sure.
Blind Pig is Russian River's, single IPA, I guess you could say.
They know that.
Well, just in case you don't. But this, as far as the malt goes, I mean, there's a lot of character to it. It's got I sound like Dr. Bill. It's got a depth of character to it, It really does.
It's got that unctuous feeling on the
umami.
It's unctuous, yes. No, it's funny because it's for as huge as it is. I mean, this is a massive. This might be one of the biggest IPAs I've ever had.
I don't get hardly any alcohol off this though.
No, that's that was where you were headed. Yeah, I know.
Really? About that one, I get a bit of burn.
There's a tad bit of fusel on the back end, but it's not enough to really affect the flavor profile. In my opinion.
Exactly. It's honestly, I think it's more complimentary than anything. I mean, you can tell this isn't like 5%, but
well, it's like when you drink a really good whiskey and it's super smooth and you don't get any of the burn on the front and you just get that nice little warm feeling as it goes down.
That's a good thing.
Exactly, and that's what I get off this beer is that you don't get any of the burn or any of the fusel notes. It's just on the back end, it warms up a little bit, and it's just like, oh.
And to be honest, like I said, Pliny the Younger was the same way, except when compared to Blind Pig, it was more prominent because you could tell it was there. But if you didn't compare the two, obviously if you compare a high a high alcohol IPA to a low alcohol IPA, you're going to tell the difference. But Pliny, it was still complementary in the same aspect as this is complementary. But the malt bill on this just brings it. It's a little bit higher alcohol. The malt bill on this just brings it to another level. Yeah, it's really good.
And my point in bringing that up is not to hate on Pliny or be like, oh, that beer's overrated or whatever.
I will never hate on anything.
Right? No, Pliny the Younger is still bar none one in my top 10 best beers on the planet.
Totally.
And I'm the guy that makes the drive up every year to Russian River to have it on the day it's released, and I hold I feel no guilt for that.
It's good to know that you don't feel guilty.
Well, it's like people are like, oh, I can't. Yeah, exactly. People have asked me that, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you going up there for a beer? I'm like, because it's awesome. Like, what?
Because it's fucking Pliny, man. Like,
but I mean, the reason I bring that up is that because breweries now are starting to brew beers that are comparable in size and quality and taste and deliciousness as Pliny the Younger, as regular releases, and far less trouble to get, so to speak.
Getting Pliny
the Younger is difficult. It's
a quest.
Because this, as far as the these were available to us locally here.
Right, and what was it?
The
Founders
triple was brewery only, right?
Was it Founders Devil Dancer?
Yeah, the triple was brewery only, wasn't it?
Black Label, I believe, yes, was.
But the double was around,
but Founders does what? Devil Dancer is it?
Devil Dancer, yeah.
Also really, really good. It's a totally different style of IPA, but it's still a very delicious triple IPA. And I believe Sweetwater is doing a triple IPA now. Is that correct? Or am I completely wrong on that?
I don't know about that one.
Okay. So, somewhere over there is another one's happening.
Y'all can Google that one.
Y'all.
Yes.
So I mean, that's the whole point that I'm trying to make is that it's like Pliny is such an exciting release, especially for me. So I'm not going to hate on it. But at the same time, there's these other beers that you can get that are equally as phenomenal as that beer.
And, you know, and that's one thing. I mean, I work at a beer store, and it's funny because, you know, we get Pliny the Elder, and people freak out about Pliny. They're like, oh my God, you got Pliny, and the Pliny this and the Pliny that. And it's awesome, obviously. It's such a great beer.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, they will go, they will beeline for Pliny.
Bypass everything else.
Yeah, and they'll pass up, you know, like, you know, Sculpin, or, you know,
Sculpin's
I mean,
awesome.
or even like, you know, Racer 5. I mean, you know, beers like this that they've never had before. And I know. I know.
I'm just kidding.
I know, but you get the idea where it's like, you know, they get so focused on, you know, the P word.
Right.
And, you know, you pass up all
People
these
like
other
their Ps.
amazing beers, you know? Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. You know,
And
you shouldn't bypass stuff like this just because, okay, buy one elder and then buy something else and something else.
And my thing is buy the Elder and do some side-by-sides with it.
Yeah,
actually, that's a good point because
Absolutely.
it's not like you're trying to, you know, okay, this is the best, and now how do you rank? No,
Right. Which one do you like the
literally,
best?
if you pour little tasters, you'll be able to tell the difference immediately when they're side by side.
Definitely.
And you'll be like, oh wow, this I get a lot more malt. I get some more biscuitiness off of this. I get more pininess off of this, or whatever. And
This one smells like weed.
really cool. Yeah, it's really fun to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so what we're trying to say is, you know, broaden your horizons. Pliny isn't the only IPA out there.
This is
It's just a really delicious one.
This
Exactly.
is a solid triple.
So
This is wonderful.
Drake,
Absolutely.
good on
I'm
you.
saying this is a solid triple IPA.
Solid.
Like we're having a triple IPA on the show out of a bottle. That's so epic.
Yeah,
That's
it
so
seriously
cool.
is, for
Yeah.
sure.
So-
Yeah.
Well, Drake's, good on you guys. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely.
And as always, until next week, stay safe and drink beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.